not a peaceful quiet, but a heavy, watchful stillness that seemed to hang in the air. The old well, hidden deep in the woods, was at the heart of this silence, a silence that seemed to emanate from its depths. The townsfolk avoided its crumbling stone edges and the black emptiness that stared back as if it held secrets too dark to uncover.
Kids in Hollow Creek whispered about a shadow in the well, a shadow that seemed almost alive. A shadow that danced when the moon was full, casting eerie shapes on the ground.
A shadow that cried out with the wind, its voice mingling with the rustling leaves. They dared each other to get close, to peek into its depths, but none were brave enough to disturb its haunted quiet, the silence that seemed to swallow all sound.
One sweltering summer night, a group of kids stood at the edge of the woods, their breaths shallow and quick, their eyes on the old well, its dark mouth gaping like a silent scream. Among them was 12-year-old Clara, her heart pounding in her chest, her hands trembling slightly. She'd listened to the whispers, to the stories, and tonight she was determined to know the truth, to uncover the mystery that had haunted her dreams.
"I dare you!" sneered Billy, the bravest of the group, his voice barely a whisper. "I dare you to look down the well, Clara!"
Clara's breath caught in her throat. She wasn't scared of spiders or the dark, but the well was different. It held a darkness she couldn't explain, a coldness that seeped into her bones just thinking about it. But Billy had dared her, and Clara hated to be called a chicken. Taking a deep breath, she took a step forward. The other children gasped, taking a collective step back. Clara inched closer to the well, her heart pounding in her chest. The forest around her was eerily silent, amplifying the sound of her own footsteps. Its stone rim was cold and damp against her hand, sending a shiver up her spine. She hesitated for a moment, feeling the weight of the unknown pressing down on her. Peering down, she saw nothing but blackness. The void seemed to swallow the light, making it impossible to see the bottom. The moon, usually so bright, seemed to hold its breath, casting long, eerie shadows across the clearing. It was as if the entire world was waiting for something to happen.
Then she heard it, a faint sound that sent chills down her spine, a whisper, soft and mournful, rising from the depths. "Help me!" it pleaded. "Please help me!" The voice was filled with desperation and sorrow.
Clara's blood ran cold. The voice, it sounded familiar. It echoed in her mind, bringing back memories she had tried to forget, like her little brother, Timmy, who had gone missing a month ago. The thought of him trapped down there filled her with a sense of urgency. Without a second thought, Clara grabbed the old frayed rope dangling from the well's side. She knew it was risky, but she couldn't leave him. It was rough against her skin, but it held her weight. She tested it, pulling hard to make sure it wouldn't break. Taking another deep breath, she began to lower herself down into the darkness. Each step was a leap of faith, driven by the hope of finding her brother. Down, down, down she went. The darkness swallowed her whole. The whispers grew louder, echoing against the damp well walls.
"Clara, help me, Clara."
Her heart pounded in her ears. Fear threatened to consume her, but the voice, Timmy's voice, spurred her on. Then a faint light. The bottom of the well. Clara landed with a thud, her eyes struggling to adjust to the dimness. There, huddled in the corner, was a small figure.
"Timmy?"
She gasped, rushing towards him. The figure looked up, his face pale and thin, his eyes wide with fear. It was Timmy, but something was wrong. His eyes, they weren't her brother's warm brown, they were cold, black and bottomless.
"Timmy, what happened? How did you get down here?"
Clara asked, her voice trembling. She reached out to touch him, but he flinched away, pulling something closer to his chest.
"He wouldn't let me leave. The shadow, it took me. It wants to keep me here forever."
Clara's blood ran cold. The whispers, the shadow. It wasn't just a story, it was real, and it had taken her brother. But why? What did it want?
"Don't worry. I promise everything will be all right. I'm going to get you out of here. Just hold on a little longer."
She reached for Timmy again, her heart pounding in her chest, and this time he didn't pull away. His small hand felt cold in hers. He opened his hand, revealing a small silver locket, glinting faintly in the dim light. It was Clara's locket, the one their mother gave her for her birthday, a cherished family heirloom. As soon as Clara touched it, Timmy's grip tightened almost painfully. His face contorted into a grotesque snarl, a twisted mask of anger and fear. His eyes, no longer her brother's, but pools of darkness, burned into hers, filled with an unearthly rage.
You're not taking me anywhere. I belong to the well now. The well, it wants you now. It demands a new soul.
A blood-curdling scream escaped Clara's lips, echoing through the night as the light from the well intensified, engulfing her in its blinding white embrace. Then silence. The well was quiet again, the whispers gone, leaving only an eerie stillness. Clara was never seen again. The forest